All right, folks, Joe Downey here, sitting alongside Brad Faxon, very excited to introduce the next installment of drone footage we have of the progress at Old Trail on the match course. And Brad, you've had a very unique perspective working alongside Gil Hanse, Jim Wagner, and the rest of their design team in this process, and very eager to hear what your experience has been so far. So let's pass it over to you, and you take the reins on looking at the next few holes.
Joe, it's really an exciting stage here as we look at the opening tee shot, the opening hole. You can see these pads, which will later have the same grass as you see sodded there. So you see the expert golfer down to the beginner level golfer, and you're starting to take form here of the golf course. You see the white sand straight ahead is what the fairway is going to be like, and you can see the bunkering on either side. So the water's not in play off the tee really, but these bunkers are definitely in play, and you can see what was probably the most labor-intensive part of building these bunkers is the revetted or sodded edge of these bunkers. And as the view comes higher and higher, you get a good idea of the shot that the golfer's going to face on the opening shot here at Old Trail. So Joe, the landing area is between these two bunkers, the big bunker there on the left that works between 1 and 18. So if you can get a good drive between it there, now you're gonna have a lot of choices. And I think that's what architects like to do, is make a golfer think. So you have this bunker that's in front of the green about 40 yards. It's a deception bunker. You can choose to attack this hole, or you can lay up back to the right and have a full shot into this kind of smallish green. Because it's a par 4.5 almost, there's a lot of ways to play this hole. We made some bunkering on the right so that if you happen to pitch your ball too far to the right, it'll catch it before it goes in the water. But if you do miss the green to the left, it'll fall away and you'll have a tough pitch shot, or maybe some kind of bump and run shot up the hill to this green. And it's going to be a starting hole where I think if you make a 5, you're going to be very happy, but danger lurks everywhere, as you can see. Joe, this is really exciting here. I know you hit the opening tee shot in front of the golf committee here on what is the second hole. And what's amazing about what Gil Hanse and Jim Wagner do is what they really do is they create interesting golf and interesting golf holes. Now this hole is called a cape because it bends around the water, and you can see how much you want to bite off. There's a big gamble here. The farther you hit the ball to the right, you can see the sod laid down the side here. That's to help from washouts to prevent any of that erosion that we don't want to see. Now there's a new bunker being built here on the left side of the fairway, just to the right of that big tree, and it is a bunker you are going to want to stay out of. And you can see the drainage there. That's kind of a wishbone sort of looking drainage to get the water off the fairways and flow away to the low points. And now if you happen to hit a good tee shot between the Osprey Tower and that big bunker, look how deep it is on the left. Now again, like the first hole, and how often have you ever played 2 par 5s in a row, and then how often have you ever played 2 par 5s to kick off your round, the first and second hole? And again, there's a deception bunker here, like on the first hole. This one's on the right instead of the left side of the fairway. You see the wetlands on the left. You're going to want to avoid that. So your layup is very strategic. You're going to be back before these bunkers, between the bunkers, and over and carrying the bunkers. And the sod that's put on these bunkers right now is something that really, really makes the golf course look like it's coming into fruition here. Again, a green that's sloped from back to front, and if you miss it short left, it can run away. If you hit it over the back right, forget about getting up and down.
All right, Brad, rolling off the back of number 2 green, we're right into 3T here.
Well, there's a series of tees here, Joe, and this hole, the prevailing wind will help the golfer here. You see these 2 bunkers that are kind of going to semi-blind the tee shot. You're going to have to kind of get a little view between the bunkers at where you want to go. The tree straight ahead, the oak is a good target. Now there's bunkers pinching in on the left side to keep you out to the right, and I think Jim Wagner really did a great job in this green. It's called a punch bowl. It was one of the greens, a template hole for a green that's very low in the middle, and it's in essence a punch bowl, low in the middle, where you can hit a ball out to the right or out to the left and play the caroms off there. But if you cheat a little to the left, you can see the bunkering on the fairway there to the left. You see a bunker on to the right, and if you could fit it in there, now you're going to have to hit this shot, and you can see where the silt fence is in the bunker. Now we have a big bunker on the left side to catch the golfer if they get a little aggressive, and we have some undulation in front that can propel the ball forward, it can stop it from going forward. And look at that fingertip and that leaf on the front left. That'll be a tough hole location, especially if the wind's blowing off the left side. This is going to be one of my favorite holes on the golf course. This is the fourth hole, the first of the par threes in the golf course, and you're going to get a good view when you're on the tee box here of the players behind you hitting onto the punch bowl third. This green is diabolical. Gil Hanse is a magician when it comes to shaping with a bulldozer, as is Wagner. And I didn't know this. I learned something, but Gil has 3 kids, and he always likes to do things like a feature of 3 bunkers, and you'll see that on the left side of this green, number 4. And this is the deepest golf green on the course, almost some 50 yards deep, and there's a little ellipse on both the front and the left side, so for some really shorter hole locations that would be very tricky to get up and down if you miss this green. Joe, just a great look here from up above at the 2 parallel holes, 1 and 18, and now obviously 18, the finish to the right of these massively created bunkers by the team of Hanse and Wagner. We had to build a little bit of pond to the right that might catch some balls in an errant shot with the wind blowing off the left like is normal. If you see that pine tree on the left side, you want to keep it between the edge of the bunker and that pine and give yourself a chance to get home on this par 5. We really think that number 1 and number 18 will be like par 4.5, where if you can finish the round with a score of 9 on those 2 holes, that you haven't lost any ground. And you can see those little islands in the bunkers that can, again, wreak havoc, like I said before, if you get a little unlucky up against the lip, Joe. But it's going to be a beautiful feature. You will see those bunkers from the tee shot. You can't see them clearly right now with all the dirt that's piled along. And then, again, it's a second shot where you're going to be tempted to go for this green, but it's a very narrow approach. You see those 2 bunkers on the left, and we'll have a lot of mounding to keep the golfer from trying to get it over there too far in the first fairway. And you'll see how that angle, if you were left, coming over both of these bunkers is not something you want to have. That right bunker wouldn't be too bad, and those 2 left bunkers are very, very deep. And again, a green sloping from back to front. This is a great finishing hole.